We all love Valve. Heck, we love them so much that we made a channel devoted to them, but oh man, have they frustrated their CSGO players with some controversial updates. My name is Braden, and welcome to Valve Guides.
And happy controversial major update, folks.
Now, I know the topic of some of these updates are controversial, so again, I will do my best to remain neutral when discussing these topics. However, these 7 updates really did shake up and frustrate the CSGO community. So without further delay, let's get into it. Starting off at number 7, we have the AUG buff. Most people probably don't remember this update as it came out way back in 2014. Valve decided that CSGO lacked versatility when it came to weapons, as people would just use the M4 AWP or AK whenever they could. And back in 2014, Valve decided to change this and applied a buff to the AUG. However, they didn't just give it a little buff, they made it into the ultimate gun that would shred through anything in its path, and literally nothing could beat the AUG. So it really did have a huge effect on how Counter-Strike was played. This update was rightfully taken out after an entire month of being implemented due to community complaints. At number 6, we have the changes to the CZ over a number of updates.
So let's talk about the hot topic right now, the CZ75 being too overpowered.
Valve really couldn't make up their minds with this one. To start out, the gun was absolutely abysmal and had a mere 8 bullets with an insanely long reload time on it. This is when Valve decided to buff it, but again, Valve being Valve, this isn't just a small buff, no. The buff made the CZ capable of outgunning M4s and AKs alike, having a huge effect on the pro scene. After this buff, they saw how OP the CZ actually was and nerfed it. But again, it was no normal nerf. They made the gun obsolete compared to the CZ or Tech 9, and people questioned its placement in the game altogether. Coming in hot at number 5, we have the reforms to the pistols, which is a very controversial topic in CSGO due to differing views from person to person. Pistols have always been a big topic in CSGO when it comes to nerfs and buffs, and one big debatable topic surrounding the matter was definitely the Glock versus the USP update. The reason this is such a big update is because a lot of people think the Glock is severely underpowered in comparison to the USP, due to the USP having an ability to one-tap on the first round, and the Glock having to take up to 7 bullets to actually kill someone in a 2-tap headshot. People to this day still think it's an insanely unfair advantage to be CT on the first couple of rounds because of the USP, and I haven't even mentioned yet that Valve at one point pretty much nerfed every pistol in the game, basically reducing the accuracy and damage to the point where it didn't even feel like the same guns. And oh boy, I'm not even going to get started on the Tech 9. While many of these updates ruined pistols for people on the other side of the spectrum, others thought it was a well-needed change for the game. Going straight into number 4, we have another reform to CSGO guns, but this time we're talking about SMGs.
Run and gun, a term unheard of in the Counter-Strike world for a very good reason. Counter-Strike is a skill-based game. It takes time, effort, and a dedication to improving yourself to learn it properly.
This update made competitive matchmaking hell for a good 2 weeks, especially when it was first implemented, as no one really knew how to deal with run and gun SMG players. This update really made me feel Valve had taken a step in the complete wrong direction and just made it easier for players who didn't know how to play the game properly yet. This update was extremely frustrating and drove many committed players away from the game, and to this day, I have no idea what Valve were thinking when they implemented it. But again, there's always another side to the story. And at number 3, we have the NERF update. This one's pretty simple, but pretty dramatic. Now, this update was pretty much what made every opper super frustrated for at least a month. This update made it so that when the op was scoped in, you would travel at a velocity of 100 rather than the previous value of 150. This update really ticked a lot of people off, with aggressive oppers in particular taking a huge hit, and opping just wasn't what it once had been. Now at number 2, we have the ranking system update, which isn't hated by everyone, but I'd be a fool to say that no one hated it, because this update made so many people angry, once again driving away players from actually playing CSGO. What this update did was shift the mass majority of rankings in all of CSGO, and making D-ranks much more common among every single player, thus meaning that mass amounts of players were D-ranked, with some going from Legendary Eagle all the way down to Master Guardian 2. The reason everybody was so annoyed was due to the fact that the update was just so random and out of the blue, and Valve didn't really display their reasoning behind it until after it had been released, and it didn't only D-rank people for playing badly either. Apparently some people won 5 games in a row and then lost 1 game, and got deranked just for that. Although some would say it is a good change as it evened out a lot of the rankings and throughout the entire player base. Now, for the big number one, we have the dreaded R8 Revolver update. This update seriously ruined Counter-Strike for a good week and actually caused me to stop playing it for a long time. I know I said I was being neutral, but that's the truth. I stopped playing CSGO for such a long time because of this update. Made the game quite literally unplayable, and most people called it the Wild West. The R8 was basically an $850 revolver variant of an op. Its power was beyond understanding, and the update didn't only add the R8 though. Oh no, apparently it was a good idea to nerf almost every single rifle in the game at the same time, making it joyful for those who like to run and gun with SMGs, and for those who like to get cross-map headshots through Dust 2 mid-doors with a pistol. Seems balanced. Of course, Valve did eventually make the necessary changes to make the game playable again, but still though, I really want a community test environment. Well guys, that just about does it for this video. If you enjoyed, drop a like. Also make sure to let us know which of these updates rattled your cage. If you want to see any more content like this, make sure to click that subscribe button. Also follow us on Twitter at UltraGuides, as we may or may not have a giveaway for you guys coming soon. You can check out our hub channel, UltraGuides. Link will be on the screen and in the description below, and you can join our Discord server if you want to hang out with me and other members of UltraGuides. Special thanks to Joey, as this was his first script he has written on Valve Guides. Make sure to give him a virtual pat on the back and some constructive criticism, because we could all use some of that, couldn't we? Again, my name is Braden, and I will see you next time.